Good morning, campers. Well, here it is. Time for us to get on the road. I know it's been a long time, but boy, it's time to hit the road. Starting to get cool outside here in Washington State. I'm here at the place where we store our motorhome. You can see the beast behind me. And we're gonna do a little bit of maintenance on this guy, get it on the road, and head out of town. So our original route was to go across the country and end up in Arizona. But, you know, life happens. And so instead, we are taking a shorter route to get to Arizona. And we're going to spend a little bit of time there before we head off again to Honduras and do some more scuba diving. So I've got a little bit of maintenance work to do on the coach. Here you can see the belly of the beast. Let me flip the camera around. So, yep, there it is. There's the engine. I just put in some of the coolant in there, so this is nice and full. You know, got to check the oil. And I noticed some of this stuff here. I'll get the camera up there. Some of this stuff here is hanging down. It holds all this foil or barrier. I guess this is supposed to keep the inside of the coach a little cooler. There's the access panel. Oh, yeah, there's the access panel inside the coach there. But they have all this foil on here, and this tape is coming off. So, yeah. Just got to do a little light maintenance work. So our route this time is going to take us down through Montana and Utah and Wyoming, and kind of a longer route just to get down to Arizona, but we're going to take about a month to get down there, and then try to get there mid-October. It's still over 100 degrees in Arizona, and that's a little bit still too hot, so hopefully in the next month it'll start to cool off a little bit here. But it's like 50 degrees here, so yeah, you know, it's time to head out of town. One of the things I like to do every travel day before we go is to polish the glass on this big old windshield. Let me flip the camera around again. So this is the largest window, single piece of glass in the RV industry. And it's huge. And I did wash the coach, so it's kind of clean, but now I have to polish the glass. And the way you do that, the way you polish glass on something this big, is you use steel wool. So that's an auto detailer trick, is to use this steel wool. Now this is this is quadruple zero steel wool. They call it quad aught or 4 zeros or something like that. You can use 3 zeros or 4 zeros. I use the 4 zeros, which means it's really fine. It's not going to scratch the glass, takes off all the bugs and everything off. You can do it either wet or dry. I prefer to do it dry. If you do it wet, then a steel wool will rust and you throw it away. It's cheap, that's okay. But I do it dry and that works just fine. So, polishing the glass, doing some work on the engine bay, and got to get the inside all cleaned up. Then we're going to hit the road. So stay tuned. Welcome to Geezer Is. Geezer Is! So this huge piece of glass here is made, I believe it's in Turkey. And so if you ever get a crack in your windshield, you know, you got to get it replaced. What Integra has done is they have not changed the design of this windshield in forever. Since, I mean, at least in the last 10 years, they haven't changed the design in this windshield. And since the glass comes from Turkey, it takes a long time to get here. So what they've done is they have shipped a whole bunch over here over the last decade, put it in warehouses all throughout the United States. So if you ever have to replace one of these guys, you know, there's always a windshield nearby somewhere that can be shipped to you. So you don't have to wait until it gets shipped here from Turkey, which could take a long time. Probably about $4,000. That's what you're looking at to get a windshield replaced. Fortunately, I've not had to do that yet. I have had rock chips in it, and I quickly got those repaired, so it wouldn't become a bigger problem. Fortunately, no cracked windshields yet. I hope I'm not jinxing myself, because I don't want to spend $4,000 on a windshield. I'm really bummed that we weren't able to take that longer trip across the country, so I don't know, maybe next season that'll be what we'll try to do. When I say life happens, it's medical related stuff. Barb and I both had eye surgery. I just had a cataract removed, and she had to have some work done because of a cataract that wasn't playing nice. And then we have other medical issues. Barb needs a full knee replacement. She was going to do that this year, but then because of all the other stuff we have going on, she decided not to do that. And I've got kidney issues. Probably have a kidney transplant sometime in my future. So if you know anybody's got an extra kidney, let me know. That's a joke. But anyway, it's not now. It'll be down the road a little bit. And so just because of all those doctor's appointments, we weren't able to have the time to do the route that we want to do. So we're taking the shorter route. Barb's putting off her knee surgery probably till next year. And so maybe if we can time it right, we can take that longer trip next year. Got lots of things we want to do. Right now I'm headed off to the store to get that aluminum tape that I need to fix the interior, or fix the foil, inside foil. I don't know if it's foil. It's aluminum anyway. It looks like aluminum foil inside the engine bay. And so I'll get that started. I already did the window, already did the coolant. Gotta still check the oil. Darn it, should have done that before I hit to the store. Okay, anyway, onward, and talk to you in a minute. Okay, got my shopping done. I got my flame retardant aluminum foil tape, and then because Barb's not doing her knee surgery, got her a knee brace. So when I think about motorhoming in the way we planned the motorhome, it's different than the way we are actually motorhoming. Our plan was to just travel until late spring, early summer, and then head home. So what we're doing instead is we're still traveling a little bit, but then we're parking the motorhome in Arizona for a few months. And the reason we're doing that is because we found a nice park down there that we like, and Barb's family is there. It started last year, well, it started a couple years ago, but last year she had a couple sisters down there, and then this year she has two sisters, a brother, and an ex-sister-in-law, and assorted spouses. So the group is growing, and it's always a lot of fun to be down there around, family and friends, and a whole host of friends are going to be there as well. So it's not quite like snowbirding where we just drive there, park there, drive home. Well, it does kind of feel that way. But also, we have been going to Roatan, Honduras. And we've been going for 3 months at a time. We originally were just going to go one time for 3 months. Barb says, hey, that's too long. You can't go 3 months. We're going to be bored silly. Well, we had so much fun there. met some really cool people that we went back and had a ton of fun, met more cool people. Now we're going back again. This might be our last time going for 3 months, though it is kind of pricey to do that. And that takes away from some of our motorhoming time, because we want to hit Roatan during high season, which is the winter months, which is usually when we're headed south and motorhoming in the southern states. Originally, the first 3 months was just supposed to be our reward for surviving COVID. You know, way back when, you know, we were in the height of lockdowns and everything, I mistakenly felt like, oh, they're developing a vaccine, the vaccine's going to come out, everybody's going to go get the vaccine, and COVID will just go away. Well, as you know, the vaccine came out, didn't work so hot. Not everybody got vaccinated, huge vaccine hesitancy, and COVID's still around. Last time I was in Honduras, I got COVID. And so, and I was double vaccinated and double boosted, and I still got COVID. So, anyway, the surviving COVID part, yes, we've survived COVID. Nobody died. Well, excuse me. We didn't die. Lots of people have, but we didn't. And so we're just gonna kind of continue doing this for this year and maybe get back into our regular cycle of traveling across the country. Still stopping in Arizona for a few months before we head home. Anyway, it's just kind of weird how, you know, life throws you these little changes that you didn't expect, and your plans don't always work out the way you want them to. But it's fine. I mean, it's fine. We're still having a great time. And I love Roatan. I mean, I got in 40 dives last year, and that was a lot of fun. So anyway, let's get this coach fixed and get on the road. For those of you that have never been to Washington, I'm going to break it down a little bit the way I see it. So I see the state as divided into 4 parts. The first part is east of the Cascade Mountains, and that's eastern Washington. That area over there, to me, is more flat, more farmland, politically leans conservative. It's drier on that side of the mountains as well. That's where a lot of the Washington famous apples are grown, plus a whole host of other crops. As you move more in the northeast section, up kind of in the Okanagan area, it gets more wooded, forested, and a little more mountainous up there. But pretty much overall, I think of it as kind of flat farmland. The second section of the state is the Cascade Mountain Range. And I'll lump in Mount Rainier, Mount Baker, Mount St. Helens, our volcanoes into that. It's where a lot of the mountainous leisure activities are, where you can go hiking and backpacking and fishing, and there's snow skiing in the winter. Lots of great opportunities to visit the lakes and rivers of our state. It's beautiful, beautiful area up there. Not a huge lot of population centers, some little small towns in the mountainous areas, but pretty much it's open land I guess there's a lot of hunting that goes on during the season up there too. Beautiful, beautiful area of our state. Part 3 of Washington I think of as the coastal part, and that's where we live, is on the coast side. It's very rural, lots of small towns, a lot of beach towns, a lot of tourist activities. That goes all the way up to the Olympic Peninsula, where there's the Olympic National Park, which of course is a lot more wooded, which is a really cool place if you haven't been there. But I tend to think of the coastal area as kind of all lumped together in this fishing villages, places where you can actually charter boats out of there. It's wet, it's cold, it's windy. That's why we only live there during the summer months, and we travel in the motorhome during the other parts of the month. But it's, like I said, very touristy, so it's really a cool place to visit in the summertime. And the fourth part of the state is the most populous part of the state. That's really the Puget Sound region, which runs from Everett, Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia. That is where the majority of Washington residents live. That part is heavily Democratic. So when we think of Washington politics and the legislature in Washington, it's heavily Democratic because the people who live in that part of the state outnumber everybody else in the state. And so all our politics tend to lean towards that Democratic side. And that really pisses off the people in Eastern Washington. They don't feel that Olympia is really catering to their needs. They're more conservative, and they have those conservative values that are just represented really very well in Washington. So much so that there is an effort for them to cede from Washington State, to take Eastern Washington and either attach that to Idaho, which is also conservative and more reflects their values, or become their own state. And I believe they called that the State of Liberty. You know, if you had asked me a few years ago what I thought if that would ever happen, I'd say, oh, hell no, that's never going to happen. You know, we're not going to take a chunk of Washington and make a new state out of it. But in this era of politics, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe somewhere along the line, the federal government will decide, yeah, we want another Republican state, and that'll be a good idea. Of course, I don't know what all is involved in doing that, but that would certainly please the people in Eastern Washington. So Western Washington, like I said, or the central part of the state there, the fourth part, the populous part, that really kind of follows the I-5 corridor and is the Puget Sound region. And so there's lots of beautiful islands out there and lots of water activities, ferries going everywhere. Beautiful place to live. I lived there for a very long time, and it's a nice place to be. So one part of the state, you have the coast, then you have the beaches around Puget Sound, and then you have the mountains where you have all your mountain activities, and then on the east side where you have all your farming and agriculture. So very diverse state. Well, this video didn't turn out anything like I thought it would. I didn't mean to talk about politics. I hope I didn't offend anyone, just kind of my viewpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. And the next video is going to be more about the travel. I'm going to show some of the parks that we stayed in, talk about them a little bit, and see if we can have a little bit more fun on our way down to Arizona. So stay tuned. There's more to come. I hope you give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.